Ready or not. Ready or not. Here I come. Can't hide. Gonna find you and then yo. Like a game of chess where I rest. No stress, no success.
Yo, what's good? This is Big Caesar Leo, and you are in the basement. Check it out. How y'all doing, man? Today's a good day, man. I had a chance to kick with my family this weekend. It's always a beautiful thing. Check it out. We are coming in this Memorial weekend to show love. So this Memorial weekend, so you know, like I said earlier, I kicked it with the fam. I kicked it with my wife. We chilled a little bit. So I'm in a good mood. So I decided to come on here and talk about Memorial Day. With me being the history buff and rabbit hole diver and research person I am, I'm gonna try to find out as much information as I can on some things that I'm talking about. If I'm at 20 or 30%, I don't want to speak on it until I'm at least 70%. Then I can have an intelligent opinion on a particular subject. So check us out. So at first I started doing my basic research on Memorial Day. Of course, I do the basic thing. What we all do. Go straight to where? Google. We go straight to Google. Why? Because it's easy. We go straight to Google. It's easy. It's gonna give us what we think we need. So I do my little research and I find out, when it started, the origins, not necessarily where it started, but when it started and, who was it who was it, for and things of that nature. So, like I said, I'm a history buff, so I'll dive in that hole and I'll go for an hour, 2 hours, just soaking up information that other people has researched or published. After doing my research, and my wife comes downstairs to the cave and she says, my family member sent me some regarding the first Memorial Day. You should check it out. So ultimately, I received the information and I jump into that hole now. So as I jump into that hole, I'm starting to find like first time like origins, which ultimately made me feel proud of the sacrifice that those particular soldiers for the first Memorial Day and those particular people who were involved, how grateful they were, how grateful everyone was in that region, because it was pretty much death or those soldiers giving their lives. So and that's something that we have to think about, particularly thinking 140 years, 150, 60, 70 years later. Some things you have to think about. So let's go back to the origins of Memorial Day. So Memorial Day originally started as a tribute to the Union soldiers directly after Civil War. Okay. So directly after the Civil War, they honored the Union soldiers, the Union fallen soldiers, by saying a small prayer or sending words of thank you to those soldiers who fell during the Civil War. Okay. So, and this started Civil War, which was what 1860s, late 18, I mean, mid 1860s. And the times were a lot harder than where we at today. So I'm sure it was pretty tough back then. Obviously, it was. But even though it was in the 1860s, it didn't honestly become law until maybe 106 years later, 1971. It was made a national holiday to just show love to all the fallen soldiers. And like most people I know, and mostly everyone I know, I've never heard anybody say, to hell with the soldiers. I've never heard that. I think we all, as Americans, have to show love and give prop to military. And I understand military say I did this, I did more, but for to me, everybody has a job to do, right? Somebody has to pack the shoestring. Somebody has to recruit. Military is military to me, honestly. I mean, obviously, somebody putting their life on the line, a bigger impact. I'm sure that everybody still has a job. Ultimately, that's how I feel. So I salute all military. So especially fallen soldiers who actually put their life on the line in any type of situation. It really don't matter. I have no rebuttal or anything. So sometimes I feel conflicted. Do you say happy or merry or happy a Memorial Day because it's Memorial is sad, but there's a beauty in it. So you're dying for something that you know for a fact is bigger than yourself. So there's a beauty, but you can tell that to the people or the family members who died. I'm no genius when it comes to that, but I do respect it wholeheartedly. After doing my research, going down that rabbit hole again, and along with my wife's help, I figured out. Well, I found out the first Memorial Day service or representation of that in history. So basically, going back to South Carolina in like 1865, maybe it was over. They removed the South Carolina troops, which were Confederate troops, of course, in South Carolina in 1800. They occupied South Carolina, and they had a prison where they kept Union soldiers there, right? So it was like 260, and it was a prison for those Union soldiers who came to go to war and destroy the South. Well, not destroy the South, but make the Union perfect again. So you're talking about February. They finally removed them from South Carolina. And maybe 2 months later, like May 1st, early May 1965, slaves, which were like 7,000 slaves, because it was like 3,000 kids and 4 or 5,000 soldiers and 2 or 3,000 of those slaves, women, mostly women. They had them at the racetrack, turned into a prison. And that's where they buried 260 soldiers in the backyard because they died of famine or whatever. They could have died of anything, famine, disease, anything. It could have been violent in there. They could have been fighting for their life. You never know. So these soldiers died. So these slaves, along with the soldiers, because there was no one left. No one's in a war zone. No one's living in a war zone. No people in South Carolina who were pro-Confederate or pro-South is still living there. A lot of them lost their homes. People died. Nobody's there but Union soldiers and slaves. So they basically get together and celebrate and do the same exact thing that my family did this weekend. They drank, ate, they cooked, they talked, they had a good time, and they showed love to those people who died for them, for their freedom. And the soldiers also showed love because they felt the war was ending, was over, and they were happy also, and that they lived through this civil war, which was a massive war, of course. So they were also happy. And they also showed their brother's love for dying in this war. And I'm not gonna get too deep, but when you go that level, it make you respect the day more, and that's why people continue to put stuff on the graves, decorate the graves, make sure the graves were nice and pretty. But I remember as a child just going period to grave sites to show love to everyone, even though it's meant for fallen soldiers. Like I said earlier, I love Memorial Day. And plus it's the first day of summer. It's the first day you get together and everything is open, everything is sunny and beautiful. And you're out there and you're outside. It's gorgeous. I love it. And I also love my family. Shout out my sisters and brothers. Much love. Uh, we hang out, we kick it. It's all love. But tonight I want to do something a little different and just giving props and recognition to history because I'm such a history buff and giving recognition to black soldiers, black, you know, Black people, in this country and the part that they play. We must not underestimate the position and the influence that we've had over the last 300 years, 400 years in this country. You cannot neglect it because it's major, and it's good for the country to know the contributions of Black people. I think sometimes in this country, a lot of people lose track of it, or just honestly don't know, because honestly, I was never taught it. Certain things I had to learn through word of mouth, or reading books, and even the internet. Later in life, it taught me certain things, whether to be 100% true or not. It taught me to look at and find out more information, and I love it. And I think we need to continue to praise everyone. I'm a lover of this country. I'm My family's been here for 6, 7, 8 generations that I know of, and probably longer than that. So this is my country, 100%. Once again, shout out to everybody who ultimately lost their life to represent this country. And first of all, I have to give that. Yeah. But once again, please like, subscribe, and share. Continue to show love. Continue to check me out. Give me feedback. Give me information. I'll take it, and continue to do what you got to do to live and survive and to be who you are. Love. Peace out.